And welcome back to another episode of Hiking for the Total Beginner. Today I am going to talk about everything you need if you are going hiking single person. So I've laid it all out here and I'll give you a little demo. Here we go. Everything that I would take if I was tramping on my own. Not very much stuff. It's not very much stuff at all. And on the food. Here we forgot rice crackers. I'm gluten free, so I take coffee. I don't know where the coffee's gone. This is a meal. Dehydrated peas, instant noodles, packet of tuna. This is one of the best meals that you can take tramping, just super quick and easy. Love the chicken soups. I'm more of a savoury person. Bliss bowl kind of snack bowl things. Minced carrot and onion, a dehydrated mix that I made myself. The dehydrated food, it's dehydrated mince with leeks, carrots, onions. Porridge can be a really great cheap meal to take tramping. This one is a gluten-free one I got sent. Cooked breakfast, this is one of the best bang for your bucks. The dehydrated meals can be quite expensive. They're very costly, so I think these are the cheapest at Pack and Save supermarket. The homemade dehydrated stuff, you can't just add water. You have to boil them, like bring them to the boil and simmer for a couple of minutes and then leave them to sit for about 10 to 15 before they're actually properly fully hydrated. In the next couple of clips, I'm going to show you some examples of instant dessert that we make and also how I make my dehydrated meals. These are videos that I have shared on my Instagram and Facebook, etc., but I'm sharing them on here as well so you can see them if you have missed them. I have been making my own dehydrated meals for years and it saves you so much money on hiking food. This was something I learnt from my dad, who made his own dehydrated food when he went tramping when I was a kid. I'm going to share with you one of my favorite hiking dehydrated meals. This is basically mince and vegetables. It's very versatile because you can have it with nachos, you can have it with pasta. I cut up carrots and onions and cook it up with some meat, adding some spices, paprika, oregano, and cumin. I'm dehydrating zucchini and carrots separately, cooking all the meat up together. Spring onions and leeks dehydrate really well, so I'm chucking a whole heap of those in. I put the meat on the dehydrated trays. Make sure you spread it out evenly, otherwise it's going to dehydrate awkwardly. Throw all your stuff in the dehydrator. Because I'm cooking meat, I'm going to cook it at 65 degrees. Different temperatures depending on what you're cooking. After about 24 hours, you want to take it out of the dehydrator. It should be all dried and crispy like this. If you cook super fatty food in the dehydrator, it goes rancid, so you want to make sure the meat is pretty lean. Just carry fresh cheese with us when we go hiking because the cheese lasts for ages and we just add it to the meals as we go. Adding in already dried stuff like onion powder and beef stock is a great way to add extra flavors. Then I weigh the bags out into portion sizes. 150 grams is a perfect size for most adults. I'm reusing old dehydrated meal bags. They have foil, so they seem to stay a bit fresher for longer. To rehydrate, I simply add water, bring to the boil and let simmer for a couple of minutes. I love putting my dehydrated food into a thermos so I can have hot food on the trail. Have you tried instant dessert when hiking? I love a sweet treat after a big day of walking, and so do the kids. This is a real hit for everyone. Instant desserts you can find in most supermarkets. I'm using milk powder. I tip a few spoonfuls into my thermos, then I add the instant dessert, giving it a really good mix to get out as many lumps as possible, and then once the lid is on, I give it a really good shake. Make sure you don't fill it up entirely, and of course make sure you use cold water. Then enjoy delicious instant pudding. Don't forget to hit follow for more content. Hiking and adventuring with the food that you would take for an overnight adventure. I'd maybe add in a few more snacks or something, but that's just to give you an idea. Water filters is totally optional. If you really need to, you could boil the water if the water is particularly dodgy, but then that means using up your gas. This is a Sawyer's water filter. I'm pretty sure I did this backwards one time. So I think you're supposed to fill up this bottle, screw that on. I struggle with following instructions. And then you squeeze the water out and then you either drink it from here. What's that do? It's like a straw thing. I don't even know what that's for. You squeeze it into your water bottle or you just drink it straight out and it's safe. I very rarely filter water here in New Zealand. Our water is pretty clean in most places. And I think a lot of it comes down to common sense. For example, if you're hiking high in the Alpines, there's a high chance you don't need to boil. The water is running clearly and it's running quite fast. As long as the water is moving, generally it's clean enough for me. Of course, do things at your own risk. If you feel more comfortable using a water filter, or you can also get those chlorine tablets for the water. You don't want to risk getting sick if you can help it, right? Except me, because, you know, I do what I do. So you got your water filter. Sometimes I don't carry it. I have used it a few times. Most of the time I've actually ended up just boiling the water because why not? Thermos, this from Kmart. This was like $16. Honestly, this has been really good. I have had no issues with it leaking or anything like that. It stays hot for as long as I need, which is about 4 to 6 hours. And if I leave it overnight, in the morning it's still warm, which is really cool. Of course, don't forget to preheat your thermos first by pouring hot water in and then pouring your hot stuff in after tipping the hot water out. Your thermos will stay hotter for longer if you preheat it. Gas cooker. This is a super lightweight gas cooker system. This one is Barrett Outdoors. I have had this for quite a few years now. It's very small and lightweight, perfect size for a single person going hiking. It also doubles as a cup or a bowl. I don't carry a lot of extra crap if I don't need to, so I carry a pot. I will cook up my dinner, eat my dinner in it, I'll wash it out, I'll use that to have my coffee in. I've also got my thermos, so I've got, 2 options, and that is all I need for the cooking. Maybe a spoon or a fork or a spork is probably helpful, but you could grab a spoon out of your kitchen drawer and it's totally fine. Like, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. You don't have to spend any money on a hiking spoon. You literally just get one out of your kitchen drawer. This is a gas canister. This is the smallest canister you can get. There's 3 different sizes. I like taking the 2 small ones because sometimes one of them can fail. This is the little gas cooker thing. They're all basically the same. I've got a few different cookers like this. The Barrett Outdoor system, this pot and this little cooker was I think $90 or $100. When you're cooking, you screw it on the gas canister. Make sure that when you're using the gas that it's not in a closed environment like this. You need ventilation. If you're cooking in a hut, make sure you open a window. Gas can be prone to exploding sometimes. You do want to use it with caution. Should I demonstrate how to light it? Maybe I won't because we're in a closed quarters. The pot sits on here like this. Make sure it's on a flat surface without anything flammable nearby. Do not cook inside a car or inside your tent. That is a very good way to die. When you light it, you get your lighter or your matches and you gently turn it on till you hear the gas. Light it as soon as you hear the gas. Otherwise, if the gas is pouring out of it and you go to light it, pew! Gently turn it until you start hearing the gas hissing out, and then you get your lighter and you light it. It probably won't go kaboom, but use it with caution, use it with respect. Gas is highly flammable. You put your stuff on there. You can have the gas really high and it's cooking really high, or you can turn it down really low and have it on a simmer. I do find simmering is a bit more tricky because the pot is really thin and gas doesn't really know how to simmer. That's why I prefer just using it for boiling water. And then you pour the boiling water into the packet of food like that, it's ready to go. If I was cooking like this or the noodles, I would tip the peas in, bring it to the boil, chuck the noodles in, chuck my peri tuna in, give it a good stir, turn it off, let it sit for a few minutes. Hydration. Don't carry a glass bottle, they're really heavy, and might break, but a drink bottle is a very good idea. How much water should you carry on a hike depends on the hike. You can usually see the map of where you're going, whether there is creeks or rivers or places you can fill up along the way. Sometimes if we're hiking through the valleys and there's creeks along the way quite a lot, some people would carry a cup and they would just stop at each creek and just drink out of their cup. Do that at your own risk, obviously. I like having a Camelback when I'm hiking because it's a better way for me to get more hydration, and it's more convenient than stopping and starting all the time. Some places, if you're going up a mountain, most likely won't have any water at all. Therefore, I would carry maybe 3 liters. I would always carry a 1.5 water bottle and a 1.5 Camelback. This is a Camelback hydration bladder. You unscrew it like that, you put the water in, make sure it's sealed properly. The downside of these is sometimes the attachments can be prone to leaking, leaking or breaking down. These nozzly things here get broken easily. My children chew them. Anyways, some people love them, some people don't. Totally personal preference. The downsides of these is they can break, a little bit more easily, and then you're without a water bottle, or you can't see how much water you have left because it's inside your backpack. The water bladder goes inside the pack, and then you would be drinking it while you're walking through here. I love the convenience, but you cannot see how much water you have left. If you are hiking with a drink bottle, you can see how much water you have left and whether you need to ration it or not. These are just little things to think about that may or may not be a big deal. When it comes to cutting down your pack weight, food is a big thing. If you buy all freeze-dried meals, they're great. They rehydrate really quickly, but they are really expensive. And if you're going with your family, the price racks up a lot. Making my own dehydrated food does save us a lot of money, but it is a bit time-consuming, and the quality is not quite as good as fresh cooking, obviously. The best thing would be to buy a freeze dryer, but if you haven't got a spare 10K lying around, it's a bit unachievable. So on all of my hikes, I do a mixture. If we are going on a multi-day hike that's more than overnight, I will carry freeze-dried meals for the last day, mixed in with some of my homemade dehydrated meals, and then I will bring fresh food for the first night. I've even bought fresh avocados and they travel really well. We had those in sushi with carrot sticks on the first night or two. Things like cheese last ages. Salami, cheese, sausages. I've even taken steak on my trip sometimes, and then I mix it with mashed potato from the supermarket. Those bags are about $3 each, I think, and they're super cheap. You just add water and you've got your mashed potato. Tramping food is not always the healthiest. At home, we eat really healthy whole foods. We make everything ourselves. And when we're out hiking, it's basically anything goes. But we try to get a lot of protein and carbohydrates because the kids are burning a lot of energy, and so they need the extra energy-giving foods. I hope that was really helpful to fuel on your next adventures. If you have any questions, pop them in the comments below. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more of my content here, and I will do my best to put out some more videos. YouTube is very time-consuming and I'm a busy mum.